Thanks for checking in. Please subscribe, share, like, all that fun stuff. We definitely would appreciate it. Our subscription base is growing, so we'd like to keep it going. Today we have an interesting guest, not your typical celebrity. His name is Jon Graziano, who has had a very colorful backstory. So, John, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you, Nick.
No, my pleasure, man. So I just want you to, I know you explained a couple things to me about how it was growing up. And if you can share with the audience a little bit of that background first, and then we'll get into, everything else.
Shit, I didn't even know where to start, dude. I don't know. I want to say 10 years old. 10 years old, my parents got divorced. I came out of East Flatbush. My parents got divorced. My mother, unfortunately, divorced my father, divorced me too. So she told me to pack my shit and go live with my dad. So I lived with my dad. We moved to Bensonhurst, Dyker Heights area. We moved to 68th Street and 13th Avenue. That was a life changer moving out there, I tell you. Great neighborhood, great people, but it's got a lot of demons. There's a lot of dark stories. A lot of shit happens in that neighborhood, People that come from other neighborhoods, oh, what a beautiful place this is. Yeah, you don't know the half. All right. So 10 years old, I was a street kid. I went out, I wanted to hang out with, different crews, different gangs or whatever. So I meet these couple of kids, the one kid's a gang leader or whatever. So, yeah, let's go hang out. So my so-called initiation to come be in down with this, it was like a writing crew. To be down with these guys was I had to commit a robbery. Like, I gotta rob somebody, I'm scared shit, I'm a kid.
You were how old at this time?
Probably like 12 years old, 13 years old. I'm like, wow, I gotta rob somebody. All right, fuck it, I'll do it. Like I'm just like that, sporadic, So we go up to Fort Hamilton Parkway and 58th Street, and the kid's like, yo, get this dude right here, rob his coat. He had a nice leather jacket on with the fur, whatever. I didn't want the jacket. Just the whole thrill was to take it and to be down with these guys because they seem cool, right? So I go run up on the kid. I pull out a pistol. I rob him. I take the kid's coat. We take off running from Fort Hamilton Parkway. Long story short, we got bagged on 62nd and 13th. All right, I went to a group home, whatever. Came out of the group home. There was some talk on the street that I said something that I never said. So for a while, I had drama with this kid. I won't mention no names because he's dead now. I won't, he got hit by a car, whatever. So moving forward, I stopped hanging out with those kids and I went to go hang out on another block. Oh, these kids seem cool. Oh, they work on cars. Little did I know the cars that they were working on were stolen. They were working on taking the parts off the car. All right, so I go hang out over there with these kids. They seem cool. The one kid's a mechanic. He's showing me, what to do with cars. And he shows me how to take cars. And he's like, yo, bro, I know some guys that you can make a lot of money because you're good. All right, let's do it. So my thing was I would get money to buy sneakers, to buy clothes, to buy beepers, stupid shit. I didn't know. Couldn't drive a car yet. Till they threw me in the car and they were like, here, drive this. You're going to get paid $1,000. Bro, the car wasn't nothing. By the time I got it to where it had to go, there was nothing left. The guy says, kid, you're going to take cars. Make sure they're together. So I got better at driving. I got better at thieving cars. Now, this is I want to say 92, 93. Me and my friend were working in the shop in the neighborhood.
You're talking about like a chop shop, in other words.
Yeah, we're working in a chop shop. We're taking cars apart, Like overnight, we're working in the shop on car service cars during the day, and at nighttime we're cutting cars up. All right, just to make money. Because now we're building hot rods. We got a thing for fast cars. Now we're building cars. All right. So, a guy comes into the shop just off the street. He goes, "Hey guys, you work on cars?" He says, "Yeah, we work on cars." He goes, "You guys do electrical?" He says, "Yeah, we do electrical." He goes, "Great." He goes, "My windows don't go up and down." So we fix the guy's windows. The guy comes back at the end of the day. Now here's where it's gonna get interesting. Guy comes back at the end of the day. We fix his windows. He's really pleased on the work we did. And he looks at me and my friend. He goes, "You guys party?" I'm like, "Yeah, we go to clubs and shit." We go hang out at bars. And my friend's looking at me and he's shaking his head. What the fuck do I know? I'm like about 15 years old, 16 years old right now. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. He's like, "Drugs if you party." I says, "Nah, all I do is smoke weed, bro. I'm scared of anything else." He's like, "Come on." He's like, "Do this with me." And it was Coke. I never did Coke a day in my life. The only Coke I touched was soda. All right. That shit opened up a part of me I never knew. That one bag of Coke, we turned out to like not full blown junkies, but we were doing that shit every day. Like we're going to people like we didn't even know, asking them to get us drugs, like the neighborhood crackheads and shit. "Yo, you guys know where to get blow at?" No, we don't. We only know where to get the hard stuff. Nah. We're not messing with that. So finally, my friend links up with some guy that knows another guy that's got Coke. So we're calling this guy every day. We're doing side work. We're ripping and robbing car parts, selling car parts out of the shop. Scheming, scamming on customers, charging them triple of whatever the amount was. And they were dumb. They'd pay it. Like, $500 for a brake job? Oh, okay, I'll do it. Yeah. Taking that 500, getting whacked at the end of the day, staying up 2-3 days, going to work. So we moved the shop. The guy that owned the car service moved the shop because, things weren't going so good with the partner. So we moved to another shop. What do you know? Here comes this Chinese guy again. He needs more work done on his car. Me and my friend look at each other. We're like, fuck it. Maybe we're going to get some more Coke out of the deal. Right? We'll do it. We'll do it. So we work on his car, give him a tune up, change his valve cover gasket. Guy comes back at the end of the day. He's like, "We're going to do something different today." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "We're going to do something different today." Guy breaks out a cigar tube, puts some powder in there, put some other powder in there, put water, put fire to it. He was like a fucking scientist to me, this guy. Comes back with a rock. I'm like, "What's that?" My friend looks at me with this smile and he's like this. I was like, "What is that?" So the Chinese guy gives us the little glass tube. He's like, "Yeah," and he gives us a pack of these screens. I'm like, "Don't these go on a weed pipe?" He's, "Yeah, don't worry about it. You mash it up, you stick it in there, make sure it's tight." He cuts up this ball that he had, Nick. He puts a rock in each of our pipes. Let the races begin. Me and my friend, the mechanic, went on a tear for about 30 years. All right. Now, what we did in this 30 years, I would go out by myself at night. I'd drive around, break into people's cars. In their driveways, I'd steal people's cars just to sell it for drugs. I robbed a few drug dealers in the neighborhood, all for crack. Like, whoever created that must have created White Castle, because
That's
that's
crazy.
it.
Well,
That shit's crazy.
well, when you were doing the chop shops, when you were
Mm-hmm.
working on that, right? 'Cause I know a lot of chop shops are run by the wise guys. A lot of wise guys
Yeah,
dealt with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Did you ever come across any of those kind of guys?
I
Especially in
seen
Breckenhurst.
I, I seen a few guys that stuck out a little out of the ordinary. They weren't like regular guys. They had really nice cars, really nice jewelry. You know, they always pulled out a lot of money out of their pocket. And my friend, the mechanic, we're just going to call him the mechanic, was always like, yo, that's so-and-so. And I'm like, who? He's like, so-and-so from this family. And you know, bro, over the years, I'm so burnt. Like, I can't remember, like, who these people were, but they were important. All right. They were important. All right. So 18 years old, I'm working with a guy selling sneakers. I smoked this shit a couple of days a week. Finally, this guy runs a kid over, racing to get drugs. Tried to blame me and the mechanic. Well, we didn't do it. They ended up getting him because there was surveillance. They got him. And then I moved to Staten Island for a better life. I went back to my dad's because now I've been in the street all of these years. I've been in the street. I went back to my dad. I started doing good. I got off the shit for a little while. And then I met some more people in Staten Island. And then it started back up again. And the people I used to hang out with doing these drugs is like, I look at them now, disgusting. Back then, I used to run to these people. You know, like they were a god because they could get drugs and I could get high all day and just forget about everything, you know?
And this is like this is from like 1992, like you said, to like for how long you were in that world?
Well, in 1997, I lost my sister to spinal meningitis. I lost my sister, and that was like my best friend, my sister. And one of my dad's friends used to do a lot of coke, and I started getting high with him. And let's get on him real quick. We used to go cop little bags of coke from Bay Ridge, and we used to drive around, and we used to go ripping. All right, I had an order one night for a Jeep Wrangler. Okay, me and him are riding around in a stolen Ford Taurus, and we see a Jeep in Bay Ridge on 100th Street. Guy's riding around. So finally, he parks the Jeep. I guess he was looking for parking to go in the restaurant on 4th Avenue. I says, that's the Jeep we need. Well, I thought that was the Jeep we need. The guy needed automatic, but I was so banged up on the crack and the coke, I don't know. I just grabbed the Jeep. A Jeep is a Jeep. You want it, swap the tranny. So end up the guy parks his Jeep. I come walking from the bottom of the block, and the guy's at the top of the block, the guy that I was with. Now the Jeep owner's walking up the block. So I'm walking up the block behind him. I jump in the Jeep, crack the column, I take off. Me and the guy, my dad's friend, go to his friend's gas station to beep the guy to give him the Jeep. So we call the guy. I robbed the gas station in that time because the money was there. I took all the money out of the box. We left. Went to go meet the guy for the Jeep. The guy, it's the wrong Jeep. It's stick shift. He's like, you fucking idiots. What am I going to do with this? Go get me the right Jeep. So we took the Jeep. We left it. My uncle gets a beep. I didn't say nothing that I took the money from the cash drawer. Now, this is that guy's friend. I didn't say nothing to him that I took the money. He gets a beep. Yo, you was at the gas station? That guy that you were with robbed the money. I didn't do nothing. I left him, smoked all of the money. Smoked all of that money. And then what did I do from there? Probably more drugs. Probably definitely more drugs I did. And then I wound up back on the street again because my dad threw me out. And then I became homeless in Manhattan. I
Wow.
slept on the street. I slept on the street in 15th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue. I was out there for like a year. And then I went into a rehab probably, I want to say 2010. I went into a rehab 2009 maybe. No, it had to be before that. It had to be before that because I went to jail from 2007 to 2011.
So you went away you got pinched for what? For
I got pinched for drugs. I got pinched for drugs because I was just trying to get high, and I knew somebody that sold something, and I knew somebody that bought something. But the somebody that bought something was a snitch. He ended up bringing the feds to one night. One day he calls me because I'm selling this kid, like I'm getting him an ounce every couple of days, and he brought the cops with him on the last visit. He took like 4 hours to come from Long Island. He comes from Long Island, and here's the funny thing: his father's supposed to be somebody. Like how you somebody and your son's a rat. Like don't they like frown upon that? He brought the cops with him. I ended up getting locked up. I did 48 months. I came out 2011. Okay. And then I started getting high the day I came out. Then I went into the rehab. Met a girl in the rehab. We went to Newburgh, New York. What a shithole that is. Any drug you want, you could find it there. Bad place to move to. She's like, this is the greatest place on earth. We go there. We're clean. We're doing good. Just came out of rehab. Just came home. She's like, I got 20 grand in Staten Island behind the drawer. Okay, let's go get it. We jump on the Metro North. We go down there. By train, we come back in a car. All right. Oh, December 23rd, 2012, she died. She died in the bed right next to me because she was sniffing Roxy's and Coke. Oh, this is kind of tough. So, bear with me. Like, I loved her, this girl. Oh, she was sniffing Coke and Perks. And me, I'm a mechanic. I've been a mechanic since back in the day. I told her, I said, Erica, when's enough going to be enough? When one of us don't wake up? So I knocked all of the stuff off of the dresser. I was like, go to bed, you're a junkie. I got work tomorrow. We'll do more shit tomorrow. Like, we've been up for days. Like, enough is enough. And plus, it's Christmas Eve tomorrow. Went to sleep. We had the window open because when you're doing all of these drugs, your fucking body temperature's up. I had the window open. About 1:30 in the morning, I was freezing because, like, I calmed down and my body temperature came back to normal. So I nudged her to close the window. And when I nudged her, it was just a solid movement. And I got up to go close the window. I was like, this fucking bitch is knocked out. I got up to go close the window and she had foam coming out of her mouth. She was dead.
wow.
Yeah, so I called Newburgh City Police. Newburgh City Police came, they interrogated me. Like, I had the same amount of drugs she had in her body and my body. So they let me go. I went back to New York City and I just stayed on the street. I just stayed on the street. I met this guy, Walter. This guy, Walter, he was a really nice guy. He took care of me. When I didn't have it, when I didn't have it, he had it. He introduced me to a lot of dealers in Lower East Side. And then I want to say like 2016, I OD'd, I died. I was sitting in front of the school, Seward Park High School, and we were getting high. And it rained that night. So the next day I was, wrapped up in a blanket, laying on the sidewalk, like it was my living room. I'm laying there and I'm like, yo, I got my check. You want to go to the bank and take out money? Here I am trusting crackheads to go take my check out of the bank. The kid goes to the bank, takes it. I says, yo, go get us all $100 a piece or whatever. He comes back. I take a hit. And it wasn't out of the ordinary. It made me feel really fucking weird and everything went numb. My nose started bleeding and shit. But the insanity of that shit is I lit it up again and I took another hit. And my whole face went numb. My face locked up. My arm was just blood dead. My fucking legs wouldn't move. Nothing would work. And my heart was racing out of my chest. And I said, holy shit. I said, I think I'm dying. So Beth Israel Hospital was right around the corner. So I got up. I'm holding the fence, the iron fence, and I'm pulling myself to the hospital. I'm dragging myself. I made it around the corner. I looked at the ambulance driver. I said, I need help. And I fell on the floor. I died. I seen a tunnel. I seen light. I heard my family that's dead calling me. And I felt something pulling my shirt. Like, you know, when you're about to get into a fight in the bar, somebody pulls your shirt back to get you away from, to get you out of the scuffle. Something was pulling me back. And I kept hearing my name, John, 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 John. And it's pulling me back, pulling me back, pulling me back. Next thing you know, I open up my eyes. There's the doctor. He's like, phew. He's like, I thought we were going to lose you. He's like, you overdosed, buddy. You died. You know?
That's fucked up.
I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow. So I recovered in the hospital for a couple of days. I came out of the hospital. I had like 400 left in my pocket. I went back down to Lower East Side, copped some more crack, and smoked. Now, in that time that I was in New York on the street, I used to drive my, like, she's like my sister. I used to drive her boyfriend around, and he used to sell crack in Staten Island. They moved out here. I had a problem with him after a while because, like, I would do work for them, and it's like, you always want to feed me crack. Like, I need money for food. Like, I need money for cigarettes. Like, I smoke, you know, and I eat. Like, you know, I can't go to the store and trade your crack for food. That's not going to work, right? So I got away from them, and then after like a good 6 to 8 months of running the street again, I said, you know what, I had enough. I'm just gonna go to Pennsylvania. So I made the phone call to the girl, and I said, listen, I said, I need your help. Please help me. Like, I'm tired of living the life I'm living. I'm tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of living, sleeping on this cold ass ground. I'm tired of rats running over me. I'm tired of eating out of garbage pails. I'm tired of making up stories of whatever to panhandle money. Forget it. When Hurricane Sandy happened, I could have won an Academy Award because of the sign I had. People would give me hundreds, 50s, 20s, like, but it all went to a bad cause. I came to Pennsylvania. I stayed with the girl and her boyfriend that I used to drive around. Like, we reconciled, and then he started feeding me crack again. So now I'm on a run in Pennsylvania, running around, and I'm ripping and robbing in Pennsylvania now because that's just my mentality. I don't have money. I'm going to go take it. You have something that I want, I'm taking it. Then I met a girl. We were the worst, same birth date, everything. We were the worst together, like fucking Batman and Robin, me and her were. All right. She would drive the car, and I would jump out the passenger, yoke somebody up, take their money, take their phone, take whatever. I kicked the guy in the balls in the village to take his iPhones when the iPhones first came out. He's looking in his phone. I kicked him right in his dick and took his phone. All right. I didn't give a fuck. All right. Me and the girl broke up. I'm like 130 pounds soaking wet on like a regular day. I'm 225. All right. I'm like 130, 140, being held together with fucking bubble gum and paper clips. All right. I left the girl's house after my girl left me because she's like, yo, you're a piece of shit. I was beating the shit out of her every day because I thought she was stealing my crack. Like, I went nuts. All right. I went to a place in Pennsylvania in 2017 called Choices. I went into the hospital. Before I went into the hospital, I stayed with some crackheads, all right, just for the night, because the girl didn't want me back in the house after I left. She's like, you go, you leave. That's it. Don't come back. So I went to go stay with this girl overnight. I stayed in her house, woke up the next morning feeling like shit. I smoked meth that night. I never did meth a day in my life, all right? I walked from Plymouth, Pennsylvania to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. That's a pretty fucking lengthy trip right there. I said, you know what? My life is going to shit. Nobody wants me around. I'm a drug addict. That's like my destiny. I'm just going to be a drug addict all my life. Fuck it. I'm just going to go kill myself. All right. I walked into Wilkes-Barre. I said, I'm just going to go walk in front of a bus. But first, I need something to drink. So I went to a soup kitchen. I sat down. I drank a couple of cups of high C fruit punch or some shit like that I was drinking. And I'm sitting there, I'm getting my balls together to go walk out in front of a bus. All right. A guy comes and he sits down in front of me. Why are you sitting in front of me for? There's all fucking seats around here. Nick, when I tell you the guy looked like Jesus Christ, the guy looked like Jesus Christ.
Mm.
All right. He came and he sat down in front of me and he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I says, "I'm doing all right." He goes, "No, you're not." I says, "What do you mean? No, I'm not." He goes, "Well, you're gonna go kill yourself." I says, "How do you know that?" He goes, "I know a lot about you. I never seen this guy before a day in my life." All right. He goes, "I'm gonna 302 you." I says, "I'll fucking 187 you," I told him. He's like, "Nah, that ain't gonna happen." So I says, "You got a cigarette? Because I need a cigarette. Give me a cigarette." He goes, "All right, let me go use the bathroom." So the bathroom was in front of me, straight in front of me. The exit to leave the soup kitchen was to my right. He's in the bathroom. I said, "This dude ain't coming out the bathroom. Let me go outside and see if I could grab a cigarette, and then I'm just gonna go get this shit over with." You know, I wrote notes. I left notes in my pocket and everything. I walk outside. I look to my right. There's people over there smoking cigarettes, but they look dirty. They're picking shit up off the floor. Now, mind you, I'm homeless. I got some way to talk, right? I'm eating out of garbage cans, and I'm talking about these people picking up cigarettes off the floor.
Yeah,
Right?
right. That's funny.
So I got the door. The doors to the place are behind me. So I look to my left. Who the fuck is standing there? That guy. He goes, "The ambulance is coming right now, and the police are coming. They're gonna take you to the hospital, and you're gonna get help because I know you need help. All right. I guess that's what they call your spiritual awakening. All right.
That's a crazy story.
Ambulance, ambulance came. The cops came. I gave the ambulance my EMT my ID. He gave me back my ID. I gave it to the police officer. I said to the EMT, "Can I go thank that guy because he's only about 50 feet away from me?" Dude, I look back, that guy was gone, and it got really, really, really cold. I mean, it was a January day, but it got really, really, really cold. Like this gust of cold air just blew by me. I got in the ambulance, and I began my journey to get better. All right, that was January 7th of 2017. I haven't touched a drug since then.
Good for you.
I haven't touched a drug since then. I mean, when I was in the detox, they were, testing me with different medications to get me to sleep and then to get me not to fiend for the drugs and whatnot. I mean, there's a whole other probably 6, 7 hours that I've left out. But listen, people that are watching, drugs ain't the way, man. Drugs ain't the way. I mean, the way shit is now, back then we used to be hustlers. Now everybody wants to be a scientist. Don't do it. Because when I was in the rehab choices, I met kids that were like 14, 15 years old. This one girl said she OD'd and died 9 times. Mink, what are you, a cat? Like, how are you still alive? And that just like that made me want to change my life. Like, I mean, I get mad, I get pissed off, certain things don't go my way, and I think about maybe I should go back to the life I was living. But if I go back there, what am I gonna have? I have an apartment, I have a car, I own a fucking Audi. Never had nothing like that before. Anything I ever had was stolen. I got my cars in my name, my apartment's in my name, my phone's in my name. I got beautiful kids, I got pets. I wouldn't trade none of this for nothing. If I could turn back the hands of time, I'd tell that Chinese guy to take a walk. I tell you.
Well, there you are.
But
Having
you
a
know
fun.
what? But you know what? I wouldn't have learned what I learned if I didn't go down that road. I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't go down that road, Nick.
Well, yeah, things happen for a reason. Um, I mean, based on what you just told me, which is an insane story to begin with, um, have you ever thought of offering your experience, your knowledge to, like you just said, to younger kids, a younger generation, to stay away from the same life, the life that you led, basically?
Yeah,
Have
I
you ever
definitely
thought,
would.
I'm sorry?
Huh? I
Have you
didn't hear
ever,
you.
I said, have you ever thought of something like that where you would offer your experiences and everything to the younger generation?
I definitely would. I definitely would. I just don't know where to start. You know, I got a ton of people in my complex over here that are constantly getting high. My one friend, I work on his motorcycle, he's constantly getting high. Dude, you don't need that stuff, bro. You don't need it. I used to think I needed it to get by every day. You know, there were days when I was doing dope, I was doing perks, I was fucking smoking crack and smoking weed, smoking dust. I was smoking dust and crack, living in my mother's basement. That's just, I mean, we could get into that whole. It's like different lives I've lived in that drug game. You know, my mom. I robbed my mother. I robbed my mother blind, and all my mother wanted to do was look out for me and do the right thing for me. I feel so bad. Like I robbed all my mother's jewelry, like a scumbag, and then I helped her look for it. Like I did a lot of fucked up shit. I stole the rent money just to go get high. A day of partying almost cost my mother her house. A day of partying almost cost my dad his house, his car payments. It wasn't worth it.
Right. Well,
It wasn't worth it.
you have children now, you said, right?
Yeah, I got kids. My daughter's 22 years old. She's addicted to heroin. I don't know where she's at. She's out there. I got a son that's 21 years old. He works for SPCA. I got a 19 or 20-year-old daughter. She thinks I'm a biggest piece of shit. My little brother thinks I'm a piece of shit. I got 6 years clean. I'm still an addict in his eyes. You know, but I don't have to prove nothing to nobody but myself. I did that for me. You know, I didn't do that to benefit nobody else but myself.
Right. All
You
right. Well,
know.
so what do you, so currently you're, I'm assuming you're like working, keeping clean, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm working, keeping clean. I run a mobile mechanic service in Pennsylvania, Mo's Mobile Mechanic, and you know I come to you, I fix your car. You know, I like working on Audis, BMWs, Mercedes Benz, stuff like that, high end cars, because that's what I know. You know.
Right. That's interesting. So it's like you went from chop chop to fixing cars. You never,
Yeah, yeah.
you never left the car. You never left
I
the car
still do
game.
something with cars. I still do something with cars, and you know, I'm just doing it the right way now.
Right.
You know. I bought tools. I bought a lot of tools. This way I could do my work. You know, instead of taking that little $100 I made and going running to the drug dealer, I take that $100. I go pay a bill. I give my kids stuff. You know,
Hmm. Well, that's
my
good.
kids want sneakers. I get it for them. They want a bike. I get it for them. When I was a crackhead, there was nothing I could do. Oh, you got to ask your mother. You know, you got to figure it out. How do you do that to your kids? Like,
Yeah. Good point. Well, I mean, one last question before we go, because our time is coming up. Have you
okay.
ever thought, interesting life that you had, bad, good, indifferent, whatever you may want to call it, have you ever thought of penning a book about your life?
Well, I started in a rehab. I was gonna call it my life, my life in a book. That's what I was gonna call it.
Interesting title.
And yeah, and I started to write something, but due to ADHD and I just couldn't stay focused. Like if I had somebody to sit down with, I'd probably definitely do it, and it would probably be like not a number one seller, but it would probably be up there with
I think it
it'd
would.
probably be a good book because like I said, Nick, I could keep you on this thing until your battery dies or your lights go out. And
Yeah, I could imagine, for sure. Well,
you
you
know,
never know. Maybe we do a second part. Who knows?
maybe we do a second part,
Yeah.
you know,
Um,
about when, I used to stay on 11th Avenue and, with those people and do fucked up things for them.
yeah.
You could do it.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan. All right.
All
Well,
right.
listen, I really appreciate you taking the time, coming on the show. And once we're all done with it, we'll definitely send you the link so you can take a look.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, you, John. I appreciate it. Good luck to you.
You're welcome, Nick. No problem.
All right, my brother.
All right, ciao.
Ciao. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. There you go. There's the Coke. Tuning into the show. And please like, subscribe, share. Definitely would appreciate it.